Hey, happy Saturday morning, everyone. Glenn Kellaway from the basement. Big news yesterday on the King Crimson front. You know, I'm a huge King Crimson fan, one of my favorite bands of all time, and I love the current lineup. I saw them twice, 2019, 2017 maybe, both times. Just blew me away. That lineup is so talented. They are making a new studio album. I'm like over the moon. That's incredible. That is big news. Okay, today, everybody knows I'm on a Genesis kick. I wanted to talk about Genesis Solo, the artists that kind of broke away and did their own thing. Let's start with a gentleman who was only on the first two. Well, I never count that Revelation album as a Genesis album for some reason, but Trespass and Nursery Crime. Anthony Phillips, founding member of Genesis. Left. I don't think he wanted to tour and do the whole rock thing, and he just wanted to compose and do whatever. And it wasn't until 1977 that he released his first solo album called The Geese and the Ghost. First of all, any album that Anthony Phillips released has these amazing covers. They're always beautiful covers. Gorgeous. You can hang that in your wall. Phil Collins sings one song on this. Really slow ballad. Not a syrupy ballad. It's kind of a folk, more of a not folky, or I don't know what you call it, but really good song. It's the second track. Mike Rutherford contributes a lot of guitar on this album. How do you describe this stuff? It's one word I thought of. I was listening and re-listening to this, and the first word that came to mind was peaceful. Like, it's just got this kind of relaxing. You kind of get drawn into the music in a real. It's really just. I don't know how else to describe it, but peaceful, intelligent, beautiful music. This is listen to this if you want to hear something cool. I have two other of his albums. They were kind of bits and pieces of parts that he was working on. One is called Private Parts and Pieces, and this one is Private Parts and Pieces 2. Again, the covers are always really cool. I find these in the used bins quite often. That's where I've picked these up, actually, and cheap. So if you're looking for something cool, check out these Anthony Phillips albums. They're actually really beautiful records. Next on my list, we'll go with Peter Gabriel. Peter Gabriel's first solo album after he left Genesis, 1976 maybe. Peter wanted a different sound. I think he did some demos and stuff, and everything sounded too much like Genesis. And I think he'd be going, "Well, why did you leave Genesis if you're going to do the same shit?" So he brought his tapes to Canada, and got Bob Ezrin, the great Canadian producer who produced The Wall and countless other things, to produce this album for him in Toronto, my hometown. And what musicians did he bring in with him? The great Tony Levin on bass, who is still playing with Peter whenever he plays, and Robert Fripp from King Crimson. Great frickin' the debut album. Fantastic. Salisbury Hill, of course. He released this album called Peter Gabriel, and then released three more albums. The next three albums, and guess what he called them? Peter Gabriel. It's like George Foreman. All his kids are named George Foreman. But yeah, love that. Of course, my favorite Peter Gabriel album is the most commercial one. So I love it. It was really when I kind of, besides Salisbury Hill, which I'd heard, I didn't know anything about Peter Gabriel, and this album came out in 1987, I'm going to say, 86. And fantastic. Sledgehammer. Great album. Next, I guess the next in line would be Steve Hackett. He decided to leave. I don't think he was very happy with his role in the band at that point after Gabriel had left. And Hackett comes out with this amazing album. Could arguably be the best of all the solo Genesis albums. Voyage of the Acolyte. What a great record this is. It's kind of schizophrenic. The first song is like fairly heavy. And then it kind of bounces around. Then it gets heavy again. And then it just gets real, beautiful, kind of proggy in some ways. Sometimes sounds chaotic like Crimson when they get chaotic. And then just comes out with these beautiful melodies. Steve Hackett's such a great guitar player. The last song is Shadow of the Hierophant. At the end, it's got this like long guitar coda. Go ding, ding. I don't know how to do it, but fantastic. Just a great album. Voyage of the Acolyte. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention by how excited I get with these fricking Steve Hackett live. This is the only vinyl one I have. It's Selling England by the pound and doing it in its entirety, plus his album Spectral Morning in its entirety. There's Mr. Hackett there. Great record. They sound amazing. That's what the albums look like. But fantastic. Any of these live stuff. And the very exciting thing is the latest one was released yesterday. Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Live plus Hackett highlights. It's not being released in Canada until August 25th or something like that. I don't know why we're a month late. But anyway, my daughter is coming up from Florida, so I asked her to order it for me on Amazon. So I will have it next weekend, a month ahead of everybody else in Canada. So I'm very happy about that. Last but not least, Phil Collins. I just frickin' fell in love with In the Air Tonight when it was released. It's just one of those songs that I remember so vividly what I was doing and where I was when I first heard it and how much I just went, wow, what is that? Who is that? I had no idea Phil Collins was in Genesis. I didn't have a clue. So I am on the, was for many years on the side that thinking these Phil Collins albums are very dated now. Like, who would want to listen to this anymore? But because I was on this Genesis kick and still digging the Phil Collins Genesis years, I like those albums. I'm sorry. I'm going to be doing a video ranking them at some point. Just waiting for one more to arrive. So I decided to order what was my favorite Phil Collins album, was No Jacket Required. And to my amazement, I think it's a freaking great album. I was sitting here just enjoying the hell out of it. Now, there's a song called One More Night that's kind of a wimpy kind of a track, but it's still not a bad song. Nobody slams Paul McCartney for all the wimpy crap he did. He's still the greatest musician ever lived. John Lennon, how many wimpy little songs about Yoko did he do? I mean, come on. Anyway, this is a great album. No Jacket Required. Susudio, which a lot of people don't like for some reason. I think it's a great song. There's a song called Long Way Home, which is my favorite Phil Collins song. It's Turn It Off If You Want To, Turn It Off, It'll Go Away, or whatever. Beautiful track. It's kind of psychedelic. But anyway, that one. And then I thought, well, I'm on the Phil kick. Why not get the album that got me excited about Phil, Face Value? I ended up ordering this. And I liked it. I'm shocked. I've shocked myself into being a Phil Collins fan again. I know I've never paid any attention to it other than seeing them use bins. You see a lot of Phil. I'm gonna be buying them. I'm gonna buy his whole catalog. I'm sorry, but the man's a talent. Great drummer, incredible singer. Is there some songs where you go, oh yeah, of course, but like I said, who doesn't have songs like that? So let's give the man a break. Phil Collins. That's it. Solo Genesis, New King Crimson. Please subscribe to my channel. Subscriptions are just falling off like crazy. Not getting lower, but just the same. I just need to see another number. Anyway, not important. The world's still good. Love you all. Thank you. Take care.